Hello. I wanted to talk a little bit more on tips on reading professionally. And I'm seeing a lot of people on my YouTubes here that I think are more interested in that. So I thought I'd talk a little bit more about that. I have some YouTubes about it, and I thought I would just mention a few things here that I think are kind of would be helpful for you if you're thinking about reading professionally or toying that idea around. You'll have fun with it, and you can do it. And so he just some things to think about from somebody who was there and knows what you could expect happening here. One thing I'd like to tell you is that as a student reader, you'll your approach is going to be different when you start reading professionally. And your situations are going to be different. As a pro reader, you're going to have a lot of people who are who you get to know. You'll have regular clients. And these people will they'll be seeing you on a regular basis from time to time in their life. As a situation comes up, they'll be looking to you for counsel. And then when that situation is resolved and another situation comes up in life, they're going to look for you again. They're going to see what you got to say about this situation. And as the situation progresses and as it goes forward, they'll be calling you. And this usually happens a lot with phone readings. Well, both. With if you're reading as a house reader, some store, they'll be coming in to see you weekly or something like that. Or if they're phone clients, they'll be calling you on a regular basis during this situation as this is going on in their life. So they already know you know everything about the situation. And so they're telling you, they're very free about what's going on. They're telling you what's happening since the last time we talked. Where with if you're just starting out, you're thinking you're supposed to be telling them everything. You become a pro, most of your clients will be telling you what's going on. So your readings get better. They get easier. Because people are now telling you what's happening and they want to know what to do about it. Or what do you think we should do here? And you start to know about people in their life and you start to know about the situation. You know, oh, Fred called last night, we talked about this and this, I don't know what to think. Or stuff like that. And you're just, they know that you know who Fred is. And lots of times with phone readings, it just becomes you don't even need a card spread. You take your cards and you're just talking with them. And as they're talking, you just cutting cards and you're just looking at the cards. When I see Fred's here talking about this and okay, yeah, but don't worry about that. That's good. I give it another week. We'll see what happens with that. It's a good direction with this. You're just throwing cards over. Because they're telling you basically the positions. You don't need to have a formal spread on the table. You're just talking to them. It almost becomes like you're just talking to a friend. Because in a way, you do know a lot about their life. And they know you know because they've been talking with you. And they like to talk with you on that level. Now you're become a reader they can confide in telling you things. If you're reading at a store, let's say you're a New Age bookstore, you're a house reader, yeah, you got to play it straight there. You throw a spread out on the table, people sit across from you, and you're reading, you represent the store, so you want to do it. You want to do it the way that you traditionally would do it, and that's fine. That's the way you should, and that's what I do. Or if you're working, let's say you're doing a corporate party or something like that, you don't know these people, and so there you want to do it. So you want to play it the traditional, or play it straight, throw a spread out, and do it a reading. But when you have clients that are you get to know. I have clients I've known for 20 years. And they call you off and on, things going on in their life. Some of them will call you once a month. Some will call you just to get a wrap up, just an upkeep of what's going on. Just tell me what you see. Nothing's really changed. Blah blah blah. And then some people call you on a regular basis during a certain situation. That might go on for 3 months. They might call you a couple times a week. And then you have clients that will call you maybe once a year. But they know that you know their life, what's happening with them. You know all about them. So they're very open with what's happening. Those type of people, you don't need to throw a spread out on the table. You can if you want. Sometimes I do. But lots of times I just throw cards over. I'm just looking at the cards as I'm talking with them. They're telling me what we're looking into. And I'm throwing cards over just to get answers. And doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason to it. So things change, they shift, they reverse in a way when you become a pro reader. And I think that's important to know. And I know a lot of other readers, and they'll tell you the same thing. They get to know their clients. So that'll happen. And it's a nice way to do it. I just think it's nice because they really like you because you know all about them already. If they go with another reader, they got to explain all this to them. You already know about them. So you're the one they want to go to. You already know what's gone up to this point, and now today this changed or this happened. So I want to go to you because you know the history of this. Now here we're here. Now, what do we do here? What do you think? What ideas do you have with this? What should I do with this? And they trust in your opinion, your suggestions, your advice, because you've helped them along so far with things. Maybe not with this issue, but with other issues in their life. So they like your advice. You might have a client talking about 3 different issues in their history with you. Maybe one was family, one was career, one was a love affair. But you've helped them along with certain situations. And so they trust you. And at that point, it becomes hard for them to substitute you for another reader. Because you have a history with them. And as long as you take good care of them, they're going to be following you. Because you're their reader. And that's how it works. Just like any other business. When you take good care of them, they'll come back to you. I'd also like to tell you if you're doing readings where you're taking credit card information over the phone or things like this where you have to the reading isn't paid for yet. It won't be paid for till after the reading because you don't know how long the reading's going to be. Maybe you have a website where you can buy time on the reading. So you can buy a 30-minute reading, you buy a half an hour reading, an hour reading, 15-minute or whatever you have. You might have different selections on your website, shopping cart type of thing. And that person doesn't know how long the reading is going to be. They won't know till it's over. So they say, you know what, I'll buy after, I'll pay for it after the reading. Go ahead and do it. My usual advice is get the money up front, but that's if you're working a fair or something where you're actually taking cash. And the only reason I say that is because you'll forget to collect, if you know. But if you're talking about somebody who calls you on the phone, wants to get a reading, and they don't know how long the reading's going to be, trust them. Even if you never met them before. And I've been reading professionally for over 25 years, and I've never not one time in my life have I ever had anybody try to gyp me out of to get a free reading. Give me wrong information or say I'll pay for it afterwards and never hear from them again. Never once have I had that happen. Neither has my wife, and she reads more than me. So we've never had that happen. So people will be honest with you. And if you did have it happen, you haven't lost anything really. So if you do a 15-minute reading for $25 or something like that, and the person disappears and you never hear from them again, you haven't lost anything. You lost 15 minutes of your time. If you're selling a product, you pay $20 for the product, and you sell for $40, and somebody didn't pay you, well, you lost $20 because you bought this product. But there's no overhead in your business. That's another nice advantage about being a reader. This is your overhead right here. So there's not much investment there. And so if somebody did do that, don't worry about it. If you ever have if you ever work in I think one time in my life, and that was in Milwaukee, years ago, 25 years ago or so. About 10 readers in a store. We were doing a fair, and one person, they gave out tickets. Hand the reader a ticket, get a reading with them. They bought the tickets up front. And I had a $20 ticket, I think, for a reading. And 10-minute reading or something like that. And the person didn't like my reading. And she said, I don't think this was a good reading. I just gave her ticket back. I just said, here, why don't you take this back, go to another reader, and see what maybe they can help you out better than I did. It didn't cost me anything. And she just didn't see eye to eye with me, that's all. So it didn't bother me. And I don't know if she got another reading from somebody else or what she did. But I remember that happened one time. I just gave her the ticket back. I said, here, go to somebody else. And it worked out fine. I do remember now, she gave me a smile after when she left. Like, thank you. So, you're better off with that type of an attitude. People are not out to gyp you in any way. And you will find, though, as a pro reader, that when you get regular clients, they'll be telling you what's going on right now because they know that you know everything about them. And most of your work will be regular clients. You might have this number, 10 regular clients over here and one new person. Well, this new person you don't really know that well yet. But as time goes on with that new person, they become a regular too. And maybe one of your 10 decides not to get readings anymore for now. And so it shifts a little here and there. But you find for the most part, your readings, they know you have a history on them, and they trust you, and they're more than happy with that. So I think that's just something to keep in your pocket about where you're headed with this as a pro. You're going to know a lot about the people you're reading. And they're going to trust your suggestions or your advice, your prediction. I think you ought to do this, or don't worry about this, I see this being okay. And even if you're wrong sometimes, they're not going to care, because usually you're right. So I hope this helps. This is just something I thought I'd bring up. And so keep throwing cards. And don't forget to subscribe too. People always tell me that. Tell people to subscribe to your channel. I never do. So I'm saying it now. Subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye.